Bangkok Chitchat Spotlight.
Hi there, welcome to Bangkok Chitchat Spotlight. Today we have Craig McAvinue, who basically represents us in Pattaya and does a Pattaya report. But I wanted to introduce a little about Craig, and also we want to discuss about investments and pensions and what things you should be thinking about, which is his business. Craig, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you, Andrew. And as Andrew touched upon, I'm happy to support, Bangkok Chitchat when it comes to the Pattaya edition, which we do every couple of weeks. And I hope that you're all following that and subscribers on that particular channel. But I just wanted to give a bit more information on why I'm in Pattaya, who I am, what I do. And I moved here 5 years ago. I'm originally from a place called Jersey in the Channel Islands,
Yep.
which I'm sure you've heard of, and it's very famous. Apart from for the cows, it's famous for finance. And generally speaking, a lot of people end up in that industry, because that's where a lot of the business is in Jersey. And I've been working in that sector for 25 years, 20 of which were in Jersey, where
Right.
I worked in a trust company. As a trustee, you're responsible for large amounts of high net worth monies.
Right.
And my role in the trust company I worked at was on an investment committee, where I was kind of the steward when it came to, finding out who the good managers were, who the bad managers were, number crunching, to get an understanding of, who the trustees should be, investing their money with. So that was my investment background. Actually a chartered accountant by trade.
Right.
In Jersey, you often have crossover businesses where you might have an accountancy division and you might have a trust division within a particular company. My heart's always been in Thailand. My wife is Thai. We lived together in Jersey for 12 years. And then I moved out here in 2015. Since I've been in Thailand, my main focus has been on financial advice, and this is holistic financial advice. Where
Can you explain what holistic means?
Well, holistic means making sure that you've got everything covered, really. So, for example, one of the biggest, I wouldn't say fears, but maybe sort of something that needs to be considered, especially for people that are retiring in Thailand, which is a large part of my client base, is something like exchange rates.
Right.
So I'll give you an example of, one piece of advice that I would often give would be to try and generate some income in Thai baht. If you're
Right.
living in Thailand, you're spending Thai baht, having some income in Thai baht is important, because then you're not exposed to the fluctuations of the dollar
Yep,
or the
yep.
pound. I mean, ask anybody who...
I do that. That's basically how I do it. I have investments and stuff in the UK, but I also have money in Thailand.
Yeah,
Because that's what I'm spending.
That's so important. I mean, I'll ask anybody who's on a fixed income pension in British sterling, and one day they have X amount coming in. They're getting £2,000 a month, and they're getting 120,000 baht for that £2,000, and then within a day, that 120,000 baht becomes 90,000 baht, simply because of something that happens. In this case, it was Brexit.
A lot of people have been hit with that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's enormous. I mean, to think that, you kind of expect in life that you will have your monies will increase, even if it's just enough to keep up with cost of living. But when you have a situation where your spending power gets cut by 25% overnight, because you have all of your monies in one currency, then that's obviously not a very nice position to be in. So that's one part of the business. The business, we have a website called Go Thailand to Retire, and we also have a small office down in Pattaya, where the business is focused on people wishing to retire in Thailand, because of course Pattaya offers a lot when it comes to retirees, with the golf courses, of course the weather, the relatively cheap cost of living, etc. But I also have an office in Bangkok, where I spend half my time, where I do more of the conventional financial planning when it comes to, for instance, teachers who will be working at international school, unlike if they were in the UK or other developed countries, where they would have pension paid for them by their employer. This doesn't exist in this part of the world, so therefore we offer solutions to to make up for that.
So what's your focal area personally? Okay, so you're looking at pensions, you're looking at health insurance and things like that, the traditional financial advisor products, yeah? But your focus is more within the investment side, is that correct?
Well, that's where my background lays, is more on the investment side. We do have a full health insurance brokerage as well, and along with my wife, Fern, down in Pattaya, that was one of the reasons why we set up the business, which I mentioned that word again, holistically. You know, when you come to Thailand, there's many things to think about. Obviously, how much money do I need to retire? I mean, that is one of the most open-ended questions you could ask somebody, because of course everybody's got different expectations and lifestyle.
Inflation changes
desires,
things, and
etc., etc. So that's something which we try and sort of look at that question in the individual circumstances and help them with that. Health insurance is absolutely needed in Thailand. I'm sure we all read time and time again about these terrible situations where there's GoFundMe pages set up, whatever, because somebody that hasn't had insurance has ended up in a terrible situation, and it's not exaggerating to say it can be a life or death matter. So we take care of insurance. We also have agreements with with visa agents, so that we can make sure that the individual is getting a good deal, because there's so many out there. We don't process the visas ourselves, but we have a very good relationship with a very competent agent. And likewise, when it comes to real estate, it's more my wife's side of the business. She's able to to find real estate and basically looking to be a one-stop shop for retirees in Thailand.
Okay. So with regards to people who are moving across here, you said about in health insurance, it's expensive. But as you get older, it gets more and more expensive. I've been advised, that within health insurance, put your is it the minimum you pay before they'll cover you.
A deductible.
Deductible, yeah. Put that up, it reduces your cost overall. Because my attitude has always been, it's not to do with the cold or the flu, it's whether I get cancer, heart attack, or something which is a high cost item in hospital to cover for. And if you can afford the 50 or 100 grand, where the deductible, your cost will actually go down. Is that correct?
That makes perfect sense. I mean, especially when we're talking about the retiree market. Of course, generally speaking, the retiree market are older. And health insurance is perceived as expensive over here. And I'll say perceived because I think, again, it all depends on where you come from. I mean, of course, us Brits, we grew up with a national health system. Yeah. So we've never been used to paying for healthcare. Although, of course, we do backhandedly through national insurance contributions. But people that doesn't register with many people. The fact is that, as you say, if you're a guy in your early 60s and you're looking to take a health insurance policy out which will cover you for the worst case scenarios, before you start putting deductibles in, yes, you're talking about probably 150, possibly 200,000 bahts annual premiums, which is a large amount of money to shell out in one go. As you rightly point out, having a deductible can reduce those premiums by up to 50%, and is probably the wise thing to do as your premiums get older, because everybody's got 50,000 or 100,000 baht in their pocket. But if you get into a situation where you have a problem with the hospital where the bills are in the hundreds of thousands or even the millions, like a cancer would be, then of course, one, not everybody has it, and two, if you do have it, you don't want to be spending your money on that.
So just to ask it's more a personal thing as well, when you got your insurance, health insurance company, as you get older, it's probably more expensive to go and change your insurance company than they can keep with the same one because of pre-existing conditions and things like that? Or is that a bit of a fable?
No, absolutely. Well, in fact, it's not even a case of expense. It's a case of simply, if you have a pre-existing condition, you're not going to get covered for it. There's certain situations where some providers may offer what we call a loading, where you pay extra to have that condition covered. But generally speaking, insurance companies simply don't do that. I mean, it makes no sense for them to offer you cover for something that you've already got. because then the next day you'll be going to the hospital and taking their money to pay for something that you've already got. So this is a good point you make, where it's important to find the right policy. And again, this is where hopefully a broker comes into play, like myself, where we can sit down and we can spend a long time analysing your situation. Then when we find the right policy, you stick with it.
Right.
Because if you're moving around, the older you get, the more likely you are to have an existing condition. And then the more likely you are to obviously have exclusions if you take a new policy because you haven't bought it before, or you move provider. I mean, to give you an idea, it's enormous. I mean, we have terms of business with about 26, 27 different providers. But when you break that down into policies with all the different area coverages, obviously the level of cover, the monetary level of cover, the option of taking deductibles and this type of thing, you're talking about over 5,000 different options. So for the everyday guy on the street, that's totally overwhelming. So whilst it is expensive, what is a fable is that by using a broker, you pay more, because you don't. We get paid from the product providers for bringing more business their way. That's why it's just worth taking the time to go and sit down with somebody, finding the right policy, and then once you've got it, like you say, stick with it. It's something which you have to consider when you're retiring here. And again, it's something that I'll talk to people about before they retire here.
I think it's important they do, because I think in many people's cases, in the present circumstances, a lot of people won't be able to retire. So they're going to keep working. So they're still got to have the coverage.
That's when you have to come and see me 20 years earlier, you see.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, it's a wide spectrum out there. I mean, I think we all know that there's a wide spectrum of people everywhere, and Pattaya and Thailand, people that retire here. That's illustrated there. There are obviously people that have high earning capacity, and there are people that have lower earning capacity. But the insurance side of it is something that needs to be sorted out, because not only is it the prudent and right thing to do, so is that you're not getting yourself in a situation where your family might have to pay millions of baht for something that's happened, but I think it won't be too long before the authorities make it a requirement.
Well, they're already saying a minimum, even for people coming back with COVID or during the COVID situation, they're going to have a minimum of $100,000, which is not a lot. It's a lot, but it's not a lot as far as the coverage is concerned. But I don't know what are premiums that they're actually charging for that. But if somebody is a little bit suspiciously sick, should they be coming to live in Thailand at all? I mean, there's a lot of people going back to UK, especially when you've got a couple of kids or whatever, with international school, if they want to send their kids to an international school. And then they've got the cost of insurance, etc. And also they've got a visa which is valid for 1 year. And if that didn't work out, they've got to get out anyway. So there's a whole lot of
Precisely why we're here, because that's what it is. You say it's about coming in, having a consultation, finding out about the insurance, finding out about what your costs are going to be, finding out about your current situation with your existing pensions and income that you're likely to have, making sure you manage that process. And ideally, I suppose the best clients of mine are people that are living here and also intend to retire here, a bit like myself. If I could be a customer of myself, but I was doing a different line of work, then I'd come and see myself, and I'd want to know, why, what do I need to retire in Thailand? How much am I making now? How much do I need to save? What should I do? And so
it's a good point, actually. A different angle to it is that, if you're looking at coming back to live in Thailand, and you're looking at the cost of that, just speaking to a financial advisor to see whether it is a plausible option or not before you actually move. And you've come out here for a month, 3 months. You say, I'm thinking of staying here. Speak to yourself or another financial advisor. What do I need to be covered for, or what would I need to have to stay in Thailand before you even make any investments or buy anything or whatever, and say, okay, you're going to have this is going to cost you 200 grand or 100 grand or 50 grand for your insurance. You're going to have this. Your cost of living staying there is this. How are you going to get your money across? From the UK. There's this. So this is your cost. Now, do you want to come and live in Thailand now? No. But you've maybe wasted your time, but you've actually done something in itself to help.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, life's about wants, not needs. And if you want to live in Thailand, then you'll make it happen. But it's about understanding the expectations. I mean, they say no one can control what's going to happen with the Thai baht versus the British pound, or the US dollar, or the euro, or whatever currency your assets are in, and that can have a big impact. So, as you say, it's about understanding what could happen and being prepared for that. I mean, yes, I guess, we talk historically about getting 60 baht to the pound and now only getting 40 baht to the pound. Effectively, you've got a third less money. If you've got pounds, or if you translate your net worth to Thai baht, your net worth is, obviously is worth less. Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is exactly what I look to do, and this is why the financial advice business is conventional as well. As I say, we do presentations at various international schools. And I'm out networking, and I do business with people in Bangkok, but the kind of area that I've been focusing on has been these people that wish to retire in Thailand, which, let's be fair, is still a wonderful place to live.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
There's still so many fantastic aspects to living here, and the reality of it is affordable, but you just need to make sure that it's affordable for you.
Right. Okay, listen, thank you very much for that. Okay, so well done.
Cheers. Thank you very much, Andrew.
So that's this Bangkok Chitchat Spotlight. Hopefully we'll speak to you later, and please watch Bangkok Chitchat, subscribe, like and share. See you again later.